Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Caitlin Budge, and I am the founder and owner of Clarified Solutions. Today, I'm going to be presenting our 8th live post, and the theme of today is going to be effective communication. So whilst I'm going through a few different thoughts to ponder, consider, what does effective communication mean to you? Over the course of your life, how have you noticed your communication skills developing or potentially diminishing? So earlier this week, I had a poll and I asked people to let me know what the top 3 words were that came to mind when they thought about effective communication. Thank you so much to Delicia Brunswick East, our fantastic business here in Brunswick that offers really wonderful, healthy food options for those of you who may be interested on Lygon Street in Melbourne. So Delicia Brunswick East said that the words that came to mind were copy, verbal, and body language. For those of you who may not be in the industry of professional writing, copy is basically the words that are included in online publications, in journals, articles. It's basically the writing or the body of the writing. So given the vast array of communication styles that are represented in even this one interpretation of what it means to effectively communicate, it really got me thinking. So I thought about how many ways in which we can effectively communicate. And in my research and in the past readings that I've done, I've discovered that there are approximately 7,000 languages and dialects of languages which are spoken worldwide. 7,000. That's an incredible number of ways in which people have created to communicate and to connect. Now, there's a fantastic book by an author called Mark Nepo, which is a really deep spiritual dive into the dimensions of communication, specifically one form of effective communication, which is listening. It's called 7,000 Ways to Listen, and he was inspired by speaking to one of his friends who's a renowned anthropologist, and once mentioned to him that there are 7,000 active live languages in the world as it currently stands. So if you're interested in some interesting reading and learning more about the spiritual dimensions of communication, 7,000 Ways to Listen by Mark Nepo, I would highly recommend it. So when you think of how to effectively communicate, what comes to mind? Once again, in my work with my clients and my own independent research, it's become clear to me that there are about 6 core effective communication skills which can reap so many benefits if you work on building these core skills. These being non-verbal communication, open-minded communication, active listening, reflection, stress management, and personal emotional regulation. So what I'll do is I'll take a little bit of a dive into each of these different skills, and then I'd be very curious to hear if you think one of these skills stands out to you as being something that you would like to work on or that you feel particularly confident in, then please do comment below and let me know. I am abundantly interested and infinitely interested in communication and how it changes over the course of our life. So nonverbal communication, this is something that's discussed really frequently in workplaces, in social gatherings of all sorts. Now, nonverbal communication comes, of course, from body language. It can come from even pauses in between words. It can be expressed in a myriad of different ways, and it really is incredibly telling of the true intention behind what someone's saying. Words can often obfuscate and actually not necessarily accurately represent the true meaning behind communication, and therefore doesn't necessarily contribute to effective communication. Whereas body language is something that is consistent. It cannot lie. It will show you, if you know how to read it, the clear signs of how someone is deeply feeling and also subconsciously feeling as well. Okay, the second communication skill, being open-minded. Once again, as I said before, there are so many different forms of interpretation for this, but basically being open-minded is recognizing the innate biases and unconscious biases that we may have, and then factoring that into our communication so that we can communicate more effectively. Being open-minded, being open to different points of view, being open to changes within yourself and how you communicate this understanding in your own internal dialogue. Really, really important skill. Active listening. Have you ever been in a situation where you've been in a conversation and rather than actively listening, you have waited to respond? These are completely different things and sit on the opposite sides of the scale. So listening to understand rather than respond is something that will help you really connect with the group of people or person who you're speaking with. And it will also open up a whole new world of understanding. So you can read in between the lines of what people say. When you're actively listening, you're also consciously aware of your physical response to what's being said. You're consciously aware of the internal dialogue that tends to occur when listening to somebody else and reflecting upon your interpretation and the feelings that are created from what they've said. The fourth skill that's commonly referenced, and I've observed many times with my clients, is reflection. So effectively communicating with yourself. Actually creating a structured reflection is an incredible skill that many people develop over a lifetime if they're fortunate enough to do so. Stress management. So of course, there are many conversations that may happen in the workplace, and some of these conversations may trigger certain stress points for you. Being aware of what these are and being able to overcome these will help you to stay grounded and focused and clearly and effectively represent what you would like to communicate with your colleagues. Stress management. Emotional regulation. Now, this filters into every facet of our life. Being able to emotionally regulate ourselves is absolutely crucial. So, emotions are somewhat temporary things. Being able to build an awareness of when we transition between emotions and why, and have a natural curiosity rather than a sense of judgment will really help us understand and more effectively communicate. So as you can tell, communication is a topic that I could speak for days and days. I really enjoy. I regularly check in with my clients and ask them how they feel they're communicating and the response they're receiving and their interpretation of it. So I look forward to hearing from you and hearing which of these 6 communication skills you feel like you are already mastering, which you may like to develop some skills in, and which may be completely new to you. So have a wonderful day, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Join you soon. Bye.